sanadkii tagay 2024 xaruntu waxay diiwaan gelisay 40 xarig oo dhamaantood u dhacay sifo sharciga baalmarsan ama sifo sharciga khilaafsan.
When the IDPs or whatever, we have a lot to pray. When I go to prisons and you find people have nothing, the conditions are bad, we have a lot to pray. We have to say something. This report represents the work of monitoring, investigation, and documenting. It means it's information. You know, about human rights, I can speak for the whole day. But since I'm not supposed to speak for the whole day because there are other people, allow me to say thank you very much and I wish you the best of luck.
dadka dhamaantood waxa loo xiray cabirka rayga xorta ah iyo fikir dhiibashada. dadka xiriga wajahay waxa kamid ahaa xildhibaan xasaanadiisa wata oo ahaa xildhibaan Maxamed Abiib oo isagoo xasaanadiisa huwan sifo sharciga baalmarsan loo xiray.
Every time they prepare a report like this, when I see people, I say, may Allah protect you. You are lucky you are in Somaliland, it is safe. In some of these countries, you write this, you disappear the whole following day.
Xarunta Xaquuqal Insaanka Madaxa banaan ee Somaliland ayaa magaalada Hargeysa ku soo bandhigtay tacadiyadii dhacay sanadkii 2024. Gudoomiyaha Xarunta Xaquuqal Insaanka Madaxa banaan ee Somaliland Yasmin Umar Xaaji Maxamuud ayaa waxa ay ka warantay kulankan sanadlaha ay ku soo bandhigaan tacadiyadii dhacay sanadka tagay kaasoo ay ku soo qaateen 2024. taasoo ay ka mid kayeen xariga sharci darrada ee lagu la kacay siyaasiyiinta, saxafiyiinta iyo dadka shacabka ee aragtidooda ku cabira. waxaana sidoo kale warbixinta ku jiray colaadaha ka jira gudaha Somaliland dadkii ku dhintay iyo sidoo kale dadkii xabsiga ku mutaystay. sidoo kale iyaduna warbixinta waxa ku jirtay tacadiyada lagu la kacay dadka nugul iyo haweenka kuwaas oo ay ka mid ka yihiin kufsiga.
maanta ay bishu tahay 16 bishii 2 2025 Xarunta Xaquuqal Insaanka Madaxa banaan ee Somaliland waxay soo saartay warbixinteedii sanadlaha ahayd oo ah warbixintii sanadkii tagay ee 2024. warbixintan oo kamid ah warbiximaha sanadlaha ah ay xaruntu soo saarto ayaa ah warbixintii sanadkii tagay waxaana ku xusan tacadiyo ka dhan ah xuquuqda aadanaha oo dalka gudihiisa ka dhacay. sanad walba xaruntu waxay soo saartaa oo ay soo bandhigtaa tacadiyo iyo gafaf ka dhan ah xuquuqda aadanaha oo ay diiwaan geliso inta u dhaxaysa sanadaha inta u dhaxaysa bilaha January ilaa December. sanadkii tagay 2024 xaruntu waxay diiwaan gelisay 40 xarig oo dhamaantood u dhacay sifo sharciga baalmarsan ama sifo sharciga khilaafsan. kuwaas oo la xiriira arrimaha saxaafadda iyo xorriyadda hadalka. dadka xiriga wajahay waxay isugu jireen 12 saxafi ama 12 wariye iyo 28 qof oo kale oo dadka intiisa kala dadka dhamaantood waxa loo xiray cabirka rayga xorta ah iyo fikir dhiibashada. dadka xiriga wajahay waxa kamid ahaa xildhibaan xasaanadiisa wata oo ahaa xildhibaan Maxamed Abiib oo isagoo xasaanadiisa huwan sifo sharciga baalmarsan loo xiray muddo bil ahna xidhnaa. dhanka kale waxa isna dadka la xiray kamid ahaa Maxamed Cabdiraxmaan Iidle oo xarig sharci darro iyo xukun sharci darro ku dhacay isagoo la xiray xukun lagu riday sanad iyo 6 bilood. dhanka kale warbixinta waxa ku xusan oo sheegaysa oo ay tilmaamaysaa xaaladaha nololeed ay ku sugan yihiin dadka dalka gudihiisa ku barakacay ee degan dadka gudihiisa ku barakacay ee degan meelaha IDP-yada ah kuwaas oo ku sugan xaalad aad u hooseysa. waxa kale warbixinta ku sugan oo warbixintu xusaysa xaaladaha ay wajahaan dadka tacadiyada loo geysto gaar ahaan haweenka oo iyaguna wajaha tacadi aad u bilaaran oo sanad walba riboodyo laga soo saaro tala soo jeedin. ugu dambeyn xaruntu waxay soo jeedinaysaa xukuumadda cusub in meesha laga saaro tacadiyadii hore u dhici jiray oo isbedel laga arko in kor loo qaado xuquuqda aadanaha lana xaq dhowro xaq uu qofku leeyahay. in meesha laga saaro xariga sharciga baalmarsan ee had iyo goor lagula kaco warbaahinta madaxa banaan, siyaasiyiinta iyo dadka rayigooda cabira ama dawladda dhaliila. in la ixtiraamo xuquuqda dastuurka damaanad qaadayo iyo xuquuqaha dadka. in la ansixiyo lana meel mariyo xeerkii saxaafadda. in booliska dib u habeyn ballaaran lagu sameeyo lana helo dabar ama sharci xakameeya kana garnaqa gafafkooda. inay dawladdu hoos u eegto la socoto xaaladda ay ku sugan yihiin dadka tabaalaysan ee dalka gudihiisa ku barakacay. iyo ugu dambeyn in la ansixiyo xeel meermara oo lagu dhaqo tacadiyada haweenka ka dhanka ah. aad iyo aad baad u mahadsantihiin.
When I was told that I would make a few remarks, I had prepared a speech. But when I arrived here and I was given this annual report, I realized that the speech had already prepared for me, and therefore I opted not to use my speech, and therefore opted to make a few remarks. And I want to specifically speak about protection. When we speak about protection, what do we mean? We are talking about protection from harm, protection from injuries. And this report highlights the great work and the important work that has been done by this great center, the Human Rights Center. They have documented cases ranging from arbitrary arrest and detention and cases of freedom of expression and so on and so forth. So what do I have to say this morning? Mine is very, very simple work this morning. It's just to emphasize and repeat the recommendations that have been highlighted in this report. They have mentioned journalists who have been arrested in the previous year. They have mentioned a politician. We have also worked on these issues, and they are making very important recommendations. But before I speak about the recommendation, allow me to quote the great man of our continent, the former president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela. In his book, Freedom, Walked Freedom, he said that the only way you can know a great country is not by the way it treats its great people, but by the way it treats its simple people. And this is very, very important. You know, when we talk about the role of government in protecting us, government can be divided in two. Government as an institution, that's the ministers, the president and his leadership. But then government as people, it's me and you, we're the simple people, the people on the streets, the IDPs, the women who are struggling to take care of families whose husbands have died and so on and so forth. Now, what is the role of government to protect? These are the simple people. But the government as an institution, if it just takes care of its own ministers and the professors, the educated people, it means the government is failing its work. So when the government emphasizes on taking care of the vulnerable, the poorest of the poor, the people who have no one to speak for, the women, the children, the IDPs, the prisoners, and so on, the women on the streets, the women in the markets, then you know that the government is doing its work. But if you hear people crying and nobody is taking care of them, they know the government is failing its work. I think this annual report has come at a very important time. We have just had a new government. And I think the report we are talking about, the issues here are referring to the previous government. We are remembering we are the government. When you talk about the old government, remember, we are part of that government. So in one way or another, when you talk about accountability, what Lord did we pray? They mentioned the word here, transparency and accountability. You as a citizen, as an ordinary member of the society, what Lord do you pray? When you heard that journalists were arrested, did you just laugh or did you just say, I don't need to know about that, I'm safe in my house? When you had a minister was arrested or a member of parliament, did you pray your Lord by highlighting it? Or just say, no, I don't need to know about that, I'm a simple civilian, a simple citizen? When you hear about IDPs have nothing to eat and they're suffering, what role have you prayed? You are going to say, I don't have money. We all have a lot to say. We are in a decade where you people, you have the social media, and when I look around, I see most of you are very younger people. I'm sure all of you have these wonderful phones. You have a lot to play. You can send a message to your member of parliament and say, what is happening is horrendous. You are praying your Lord. You know, in your own houses. When you're at home, you have a lot to sit down and your husband and say, my husband, I know you're a policeman or you're an army man or you're a member of parliament. I think what's going on is not nice. Can you try to raise this in parliament? We all have a lot to pray. When the IDPs or whatever, we have a lot to pray. When I go to prisons and you find people have nothing, the conditions are bad, we have a lot to pray. We have to say something. This report represents the work of monitoring, investigation, and documenting. It means it's information. What Lord did you pray? Did you support them? These great women of mine, I really love them. I support them. I call them my sisters. I always tell them they are doing a thankless job. Why? You know, I'm 57 years old. So I'm not very young. The problem is the oldest in this room. And I have worked around the globe, from Afghanistan to Sudan to South Sudan to Nepal, all over the world. I've been there. I can tell you, this is one of the most difficult jobs. Why? The government will not like you. No government will ever like you. When you tell them, stop it, this is wrong, when you point it out, they say, you don't have to tell us. We know what we are doing. So nobody likes us. And sometimes we are victims ourselves. There are people, human monitors, who are being killed, tortured around the globe. So every time they prepare a report like this, when I see people, I say, may Allah protect you. You are lucky you are in Somaliland, it is safe. In some of these countries, you write this, you disappear the whole following day. So I think I just want to end my simple talk by just asking you to clap for them, to thank yourselves, but to thank them. And we should not only clap today, but I just want to ask you, please support them. These people, they say what others cannot say. They stand for me, they stand for you. They are the voice of the voiceless. And so I'm asking all of you to join them and become a voice of the voiceless. And then in the new Somaliland, I think the only difference we have to make with old report. We will be standing here a year from now to make another report. And I do not know, are we going to have the same report? So I think your duty and responsibility is to make sure that when we come back here and she's making a report, it should be different. It shouldn't be like this report here, mentioning arbitrary arrest and detention, freedom of expression. We should be saying, oh, what a wonderful government. We want to thank the government. We want to thank the government. Journalists are free. Women are free. Girls are free. This is a report we want to see next year. About human rights, I can speak for the whole day. But since I'm not supposed to speak for the whole day because there are other people, allow me to say thank you very much, and I wish you the best of luck as we continue to debate and discuss this report. Shukran, Afon. Thank you very, very much.
Xamse Xayd, CBA TV, Hargeysa.
farxadda iyo wadajirka qoyskaagu waa adeegsiga xawaaraha sare leh ee internetka Telesom Fiber. ku xooji ganacsigaaga internet xawaare sare leh oo aan kala go'ayn. Shirkadda Telesom waxay casriyeyn kuugu samaysay internetka fiberka guryaha iyo ganacsigaba. Si aad u soo gashato fiberka Telesom booqo xarunta kuugu dhow amba ka dalba website-ka telesom.com. sidoo kale waxaad garaaci kartaa lambarka xidig 121 Evergees. Telesom Fiber waa internetka ugu xawaaraha sareeya dalka.